Aloha. Thank you for tuning in to Isha Oracle once again. Here we have February 16th, so Wednesday, 2022. And we're going to be looking at the energy for the rest of this 13-day cycle, as well as the astrology for really the next 15 days. Slash like kind of half moon cycle. All right, so in Mayan astrology, what you have is you have a pyramid, very similar to actually this image, where on the left going up the stairs, you have 1 through 7. And then 7 is the very middle, the very top. 7 is basically considered the rainbow bridge, the midpoint, the balance point, in some ways the precipice of change. And so that's the day that we're at right now. This is day 7, the day of this recording. So the energy of today is really all about the idea of karmic weight. How in Tibetan Buddhism, I think they call it throwing karma, where one thing is in action, and then there's a kind of force or weight that comes with the action of that object. And I think in the normal sciences we would call it gravity. Here it says the force that acts over the earth, etc. But throwing karma is a really good concept for today. So here, if we scroll down, we can see today is a good day to do away with entanglements, to finish problems, to not fall in fanaticism, to ask that children may develop, to ask that our powers may develop for the fecundity of women, so that way we may never be imprisoned, to discover what it is that we need, to trap occult enemies, to solve family problems so business may prosper, to capture the superior knowledge. And so all the thing that ties all these together is the general energy of throwing karma, of Kan, of gravity. And it's essentially a day to really think about adjusting our thoughts, vibrations, and actions, or making adjustments in the thoughts, vibrations, of actions of those around us. For instance, being more around them or less around them, etc. Or people, places, and things. And we want to use the weight of energy, the weight of karma, in a positive direction, right? So we ask that the bad things that happened before don't put us in prison, right? So that we may never be prisoned. That's basically the idea. To ask that arguments of the past and drama of the past doesn't come into the now moment. To ask that we gain the right knowledge to create change for the future, etc., etc. So again, the overall theme of this 13 days, just for the white mirror, is essentially it's really about looking at the inward life, the how the external world affects our internal world, how the internal world is affected by our thoughts, vibrations, and actions, thoughts, emotions, and actions, etc. And and how when we do particular things with our thoughts, vibration, actions, how the external world is being affected. The quest for truth is essentially the quest for the real, the quest for the metaphysical reality. So that's the the overall thing we're in, the overall 13-day cycle that we're in. And then the day 7 is really like, it's probably the best way that I would say it is like the pinnacle energy. You can there's a lot of energy for magic on the 7. It's a portal to the next 7 days, the next 6 days really. 7 is split into half, so you can technically count it as 7, but the next 6 days, and what's to come, and taking these last 7 days and then kind of fulfilling their purpose, so to speak. So that's what that's all about. So if you take a look back at how it started, it started at mirror, and then from mirror, it goes to basically the fractality of reality, and how our inward reality matches our outward reality, and you're manifesting from your vibration, et cetera, right? And then we go to focus and refining our focus, and then we go to raw creative power, and then that raw creative power is refined into something that's more about a direction. And then this last day, what is this? Akbal, which is about clarity in how to use that energy and how to use that power. And then today, number 7, is really about the weight of our actions. And one revelation that I had yesterday, speaking of clarity and revelation, is using time as a tool. So I'm going to use 2 hours, I'm going to use 24 hours, I'm going to use 1 year, but using time as a tool, super important. So so these next seven days up until, what is this, the 22nd of February, we're basically just looking at using that clarity, using the energy more wisely, refining the energy that are around us, gaining more clarity about how our actions, our thoughts, vibrations, and actions actually affect our reality and so forth, and then using that with a sense of purpose, with a sense of clarity. Using the metaphysical law of throwing karma correctly. So that's where we're at, and that's where we're going. So the next cycle starts on the 23rd, and it goes all the way to the beginning of March. Looks like, here, let's see. Yeah, March 7th goes to. The next cycle, Shuen, is really about, I would say, funny enough, time, and a kind of like actually moving into the new portal of energy that we're supposed to be moving into. Actually moving into like the new segment, right? So the rest of the 7 days is really taking this this newfound like inward knowledge that we've gained, inward clarity that we've gained, and then really on the next cycle, the 23rd, it's about like fully embodying that, fully using that. I think in my cards today I got how one thing that I need to do even personally is to change my sense of identification, so that the resistance towards behavioral changes goes easier, right? Because there's certain behaviors that I'm actually identified with, is like, oh, I do this and I do that, etc. So that's definitely something that we want to be aware of these next 6-7 days is really the beginning of the next cycle, is actually stepping through the portal with this newfound knowledge and living in the new way. And we'll have plenty of opportunities for that. It looks like the 18th Friday will be kind of like a death day. So, a time to kind of kill off whatever is kind of lingering from what we need to change in our life. And then we have, doing the groundwork for the next portal, preparation, prayers for the four corners, making sure that everything is in order. And then here again, we have another raw creative power day where we're just getting a lot of power to create what we want. Power of the heart, power of fire, heart of the heavens, heart of the earth. It is the beginning of communication with the higher life, the nature, and the cosmos. So this day is raw Shakti connected with the third eye, connected with the Bindu here. You can see in the middle, and it's a perfect day as a 12. And then you have the dog day, which is just surrendering. The last day of the cycle really is about surrendering the lower self to the higher self. And that's really what it's all about. This day is actually a dog, and it actually does relate to the star Sirius. And it's really just about surrendering the lower to the higher is really what that last day is about. And so that makes a lot of sense, surrendering the lower to the higher, considering that the next cycle is about stepping through that portal. So if we look at the astrology, we can see that right now, what we're just passing. Right now we're actually in a full moon cycle. So it's 2 degrees. I think the moon is 1 degree away from officially being the full moon. We've had a full moon probably since last night. It's 1:40 p.m. right now. Since last night we've had a full moon. It'll be an ultra full moon tonight. That'll be really wonderful. And then full moon in Leo. That's also pretty awesome. So the energy that we're looking at right now, definitely in alignment. And these things are always in alignment. It makes sense that the full moon is on a 7-day, because 7 and 13s are transition days, and it's just kind of how the flow works. But if you look at the idea of throwing karma and Leo, Leo knows a lot about throwing karma. The moon in Leo is really about attention, and where are we putting our attention and how much attention we're getting on certain things. One thing about throwing karma is that oftentimes a prince or a princess will need to understand the weight of their actions. And the moon in Leo is really all about helping us to see the weight of our emotions, because it's the moon. So, oftentimes we think that our emotions are just something that we feel. We think our emotions are something that is actually, they're disconnected from someone else. Oh, I feel anger, but that's not affecting anyone else but me, And it's not the case. Our emotions affect everyone because we're intimately tied to everyone interdependently. And so, in more detail, I would say that this period, this next 15 days, is really about understanding the weight of our emotions and how much we can manifest to our detriment or to our delight. When we're aware of our emotions and when we're aware of the weight of our emotions and how much they actually bring in our life. I know one lesson for me personally is just not being grateful enough and just being very blah and having a very blah perception, a very dull perception about different things, and really leveling up my perception to see the beauty, to see the poetic grace, to see the blessings basically at every moment. One meditation was to be grateful that I'm not in pain, so to be aware that the absence of pain is happening and just to be grateful for that, let alone all the other things that are happening. So definitely karmic weight, emotional weight is a big deal for this cycle. We have Jupiter across from the moon shining, giving that higher light of Aquarius. allowing us to see that we can be free of emotional pain cycles. We can be free of just emotional cycles in general. We can actually have some sort of sovereignty, some sort of freedom with our emotions. All you Palladians out there are like, duh, but not everyone gets it. And and then so we can look at where the moon goes these next few days. Here, let's go to the transit here. So let's see. I think the 23rd was the day of the first. Yeah, so the day of the first actually starts on Scorpio, or in Scorpio, moon in Scorpio, with K2. So really dealing with like looking at the past life trauma, looking at these old habits, these old emotional habits, these old triggers, these old behaviors that are emotion-based behaviors. These sort of very timely emotion-based behaviors that are attached to our character, that are attached to like our idiosyncratic personality, idiosyncratic patterns, and deciding to be free of them, choosing something else, choosing something new. Because here we see Rahu in the ascendant 28 across from the moon in Ketu, and Venus is 27 degrees direct with Mars. Conjunct with Mars, and exact actually 27 degrees, which is communicating and connecting with the past for something creative. So we're looking at during this time on the 23rd and around this time, the end of the month, we're looking at the past. We're looking at what good things can we bring from the past, and how can we officially close chapters that we need to close. What are the good things that we need to keep, and taking that energy. Another way to say it is like taking back our power from the past, taking back obsessions that we have from the past, addictions that we got from the past, deleting them and taking back our power from them. But the idea is connecting with the past and then taking back our power in some way, in some form. Power here is really strength, which is represented by the number 9, which is Mars. We also have Venus and Mars conjunct, conjunct and exact. And so that's what I would say is really what that news cycle is all about. What this news cycle on the 23rd is all about. And if we look at for where the moon is now. Here, let's just go back here. Look at where the moon is now compared to the beginning of the cycle. We can see that basically, what initially what we're looking at is, right now we're becoming empowered more. We're becoming empowered in our relationships more, learning to have our boundaries in our relationships more, learning to bring more holy sattvic energy, more direction into our relationships, business relationships, partnerships, etc. We're looking to work more and to persevere and really put our mind to the grind in our daily life, and to be less lazy and to be a little bit more stalwart and have a little bit greater of a backbone. And we're definitely looking to just expand our relationships in general and to try and just discover something new, new relationships, new people, or just, new patterns, basically new patterns in our relationship that fill us with joy and love, and not being so monotonous, not thinking, oh, I know my partner, he does this and he does that, or she does this and she does that, but actually doing new things and being creative. Definitely a part of what's going on. And then that eventually shifts in a couple days to what is it, going out into the world and working more, settling the finances, getting a little bit more tight with the money, a little bit more tight with the resources, with the energy, solving, finally, using the clarity that we got recently and resolving the problems. Maybe getting caught up emotionally in problems, but then really allowing, I would say, allowing the work ethic to bring us through any kind of emotional issues that we might have, because we really just want to work through it all. And then, and then when the moon goes into Libra, definitely just connecting with old friends and, really connecting with our goals, connecting with what we're really living about, like why we're alive. All of that will be happening again, in this next 7 days. So a little bit of energetic updates, and thank you so much for watching. If you would like a reading, again, this is a really great time for a reading. I'm doing a remembrance readings, and I'm showing you your career karma. I'm showing you the karmic cycles of your current life, what's happening with you, allowing you to remember your dharma, et cetera, really supporting everyone in any transitions that they have and going forward into the highest light and dimension on their evolution. So please get a hold of me if you would like, if any of that sounds interesting, and thank you so much again for watching. Aloha and peace in your heart.